Hey y'all, Rick Fairless, Strokers Dallas. Happy Memorial Day. Megan ain't here. She is working in the yard. She FaceTimed me. Pearl had tried to make coffee in her little play kitchen. So she had coffee grounds all over the place. And I'm sure it was a good cup of coffee, I'm going to tell you that. So, I'm thinking, what could we talk about today? And I thought we would talk about what the process is like if you want a custom bike. Josh, you should have some kind of stand or something that holds that thing so you don't have to stand there and hold it like that, right?
Right, yeah. We're working on it.
That's for getting something, will you? He's not as young as he used to be. Oh, by the way, happy Memorial Day too, Josh.
Yeah, thank you.
Josh was in the service, what years?
04 to 2008.
04 to 2008.
Yep.
What branch were you in, the Army?
Yeah, I was a medic in the Army, deployed to Iraq once.
Deployed to Iraq once. So what was that like?
I tell people it's a terrifying cupcake or a boring cupcake with terror sprinkles on it. It was I had an okay time over there, and but I'm definitely remembering some of my brothers today and sisters.
I bet. That what I've always said about that is it's old guys in suits that start wars, and they send the young guys like you to fight the wars. How old were you when you were?
Yeah, I was
into the service.
18.
18. Yeah. If the old guys in the suits had to fight their own wars, there would be no wars. They would work harder at peace than starting stinking wars and sending kids like you over there. So custom bike building. So this is going to be kind of the process. I'm going to kind of talk to you like you were sitting across from me in my office about building a bike. I'm going to ask you, kind of, what are you looking for? Everybody says they want a custom bike, but a custom bike can be a lot of different things. A custom bike can be $100,000 something cool, or it can be, some people think of a motorcycle with a few modifications. They call it a custom bike. Okay, so if you come in and you say, hey Rick, I'd like a custom bike, I'm going to ask you a few things. I'm going to ask you, do you want a ground up custom motorcycle built for you versus do you want us to start with something like a Harley and modify it for you? Obviously, if we take a Harley, depending on what you want, that's cheaper than starting with just an idea and custom building something. So let's say, if you wanted, let's look at the Harley way. Okay, so I'm going to ask what's your budget. That's one of the first questions I'm going to ask. This tells me kind of where you are. Okay, well, they say, well, my budget's $30,000. Okay, well, if you say you want something built from the ground up for $30,000, I can't do that. That's not enough money for us to take our talents and make you something special. Can you get a custom bike built for 30 grand? Yes. Will we build you a custom bike for 30 grand? No. Now, if you say your budget's 30 grand and you have a wide glide, yeah, Yeah, we can work with that. We can work with that. We'll take that Dyna Wide Glide or your Street Glide or your Deuce or whatever you have, your Soft Tail, your Road King, and we will do a bunch of things to it to make that bike stand out from the crowd. You know, when you start talking about wheels and handlebars and paint jobs, changing the primary, changing the brakes, painting, chroming, different things like that, that adds up in a hurry. So if you have a Harley or you want me to sell you a Harley, get you a Harley and customize that, excuse me, we can do some good stuff there. So let's assume that you want a Rick Fairless custom motorcycle. I'm going to ask you, what style bike do you want? And I've had people say, you know, I just want you to build me something cool. I'll do that, but I want to build something cool for you, not for me. I have some. I want to do one for you. So I want to know what kind of riding do you do? Are you wanting something that you can take out and take on vacation? Something that you can ride across the country? You want the bagger? You want the hardtail? You want the soft tail? You want something with the swing arm frame? You know, do you ride with buddies? Let me put my glasses on there. Do you ride two up? You ride with your girl, your wife? Are you tall? Are you short? Do you like to go fast? Do you like to look cool? Do you like new cutting edge stuff? Do you like old stuff? I want to know that. I'm going to ask you to show me some pictures, pull some pictures off the internet of some things you like, some wheels you like, a bike that you think looks cool. I'm going to walk you out there to my custom bikes that are sitting out there. I'm going to have you show me some things you like about those bikes. Do you want a rigid frame? Well, Rick, you know, is a rigid frame, you know, what's the difference in a rigid frame versus a soft tail frame? Well, a rigid frame means that there is no suspension on the rear. It's rigid. A hardtail frame versus a soft tail frame. Soft tail frame is a frame that has the appearance of a hardtail frame, of a rigid frame, but it's not. It's got a shock or two shocks, whatever, underneath. Hidden suspension. And the soft tail frames look cool, but they're not quite as cool as a rigid frame, but they ride a lot better. Does a rigid frame ride smooth? Well, on a smooth road, a rigid frame is smooth, and on a rough road, it's rough. What about a front end? Do you want a traditional Harley style front end? Do you want a Springer front end? Are people saying they can't hear me?
We got one guy.
One guy said he can't hear me. Stand closer to the phone, Pop.
Lena wants me to tell you Curly just cracked eggs in her kitchen. Whatever.
Curly cracked eggs in her kitchen. When Biggin sent me that, I told Biggin that that's not, the pictures that she sent me is not as bad as what Lena and Chelsea, Biggin and the Rat, did when they were kids. They were cooking me breakfast in their plastic Betty Crocker kitchen, and they had pancake mix and eggs and cereal and milk and all kinds of stuff. It was a mess. So, Do you ride two up? Do you ride your wife? If you do, you don't really want a rigid frame. Not unless she's as hardcore as you are. There's a lot of different ways you can go on the motor. You can go with a brand new state-of-the-art Harley motor. You can go with an old Harley motor. You can go with a new S&S motor, like a shovel head, or a pan head, or even a knucklehead, twin cam. Is there an advantage to S&S over Harley? S&S is a great motor. Harley Davidson is a great motor. If you get an S, you know, you're not going to get a new Harley Davidson shovel head motor. So if you like the old school looking motor, S&S is the way to go. They're brand new. They work great. Plenty of horsepower. And they're as expensive as heck. A new S&S motor is going to cost you $9,000, depending on the motor. Hold on while I take a swig off this cold Dr. Pepper.
You get a couple of questions.
Couple of questions.
I've never rode a Springer front end. How does it handle opposed to regular front forks? That's from Jeff.
So Jeff, I would say that if you look at most of my bikes are rigid frame, Springer front ends. A Springer front end to me is, and you know, I like the old school stuff. A Springer front end to me is beautiful, and there's different Springer front ends. We use a lot from Paco. Harley makes a really nice Springer front end. Sugar Bear, who is my idol, I love Sugar Bear. Sugar Bear makes probably the premier Springer front end in the world to me. My friend Mondo makes a great front end. But I prefer the Sugar Bear front end or the Paco front end, depending on what a guy wants. The Sugar Bear front end handles great, looks different with the big rocker, but you don't have to get the big rocker. But as far as how does it handle, it handles great. You know, I mean, if you're building a badass old school bike, be it a bobber or a chopper or whatever, you pretty much have to have a Springer front end, in my opinion. Whether it's from Sugar Bear or whether it's from Paco or from Mondo or whoever, that's the look. If you combine a rigid frame and a Springer front end and an S&S motor and maybe a Baker transmission, maybe you got you an open primary on there versus a closed primary. I mean, these are all decisions that you make or you allow me to make for you. But I don't feel comfortable when I do it. I make a lot of decisions I don't feel comfortable with, but I'll make the decision, but I want to know you. I want to know, what do you like? What are you expecting from me? The exhaust. When I was young, I wanted that damn thing so loud it made your ears scream. I wanted it so loud that the neighbors hated you. You know, back in the day, we used to have exhausts called neighbor haters and WTFs and FUs and held bound or held, you know, all of that stuff. And it was cool. But now that I'm in my 60s, I like a good sounding exhaust that doesn't just totally piss off everybody in town when you crank your bike up. Another thing I like to do with the exhaust, if you'll notice with some of mine, is I like something different. Like when we did the bike for Mr. Robinson on his Betty chopper, we made 2 into 2s. So you got 2 exhausts coming out, and then they split on each side. So you basically had 4 exits for the exhaust. On my 75 Shovelhead, we had 3, all on one side. Why did I do that? And why did I do that with Mr. Robinson's bike? Because I hadn't really seen it done before, and I thought it looked cool. Another thing that I like to do that maybe sets mine apart from other people's is paint. And when I mean paint, I'm not talking yet about the psychedelic wild paint that we do. I'm talking about paint versus, say, chrome. You know, everybody has, okay, they got their front end, they wanted chrome. They got their handlebars are chrome. They've got their wheels are chrome. Man, those chrome wheels look great. Just like his and his and his and his and his. Everybody uses chrome wheels. Everybody uses chrome handlebars. Nope. Now the style is they like black. My bike's going to be different. How's it going to be different? I'm going to black it out. Okay, well, I mean, I like blacked out bikes. I like bikes that are blacked out, and I like bikes that are chromed out. And if you like bikes that are blacked out, I'm going to black yours out. And if you like them chromed out, I got a damn good chromer. But if I'm running wild and you're paying me to run wild, then I'm going to do some creative things with the paint. You know, people think that all of my stuff is psychedelic. It ain't. I like psychedelic, but my 75 Shovelhead, it's not psychedelic. It's got, you know, it's a lot of black and some chrome and tie-dye flames. Your arm's getting tired, Josh?
Yeah.
Yeah, I can tell.
There we go.
So, those are some of the questions I'm going to ask you. I'm going to ask you if you want the tie-dyed, psychedelic, 60s style paint. You know, back 20 years ago, 30 years ago, flames. Everybody wanted flames, flames, flames. And then it changed. Hey, I don't just want flames, Rick. I want ghost flames. Okay, so that's flames that you can't see very good. Okay, got it. No, Rick, now, fast forward another 10 years, I want real fire flames. Okay, so you want flames to make it look like your bike's on fire. Yep. Well, here's some matches, and I'll save you about $6,000. The psychedelic stuff can be, I'm going to tell a story with the paint. How old are you? Where were you born? You have a wife and kids? What's your nickname? What music do you listen to? What sports do you follow? What are your hobbies? What's your favorite color? What do you do for a living? What's your favorite movie? You watch cartoons as kids? You like ice cream? I just threw that one in there. I usually don't ask them if they like ice. I like ice cream, but I'm not asking you. Things like that. If I get to know you and you want me to, I can create a cool paint job with the cool motorcycle that we are creating. I have and I'm going to call him a friend now, that I met. He actually came out here, but I was in Sturgis or somewhere with his lovely wife, and I wasn't here. He saw my stuff. He liked my stuff. He's a hippie like me, and so he and I talked, and he asked me to create not a paint job, because he didn't paint it. He wrapped it. He's got a 73 Volkswagen, and I hadn't even asked him what motor he's got in it, but he's got a damn V8 motor in the damn thing, and it's the coolest Volkswagen I ever saw. So he wanted me to design a wrap for him that basically told of his hippie style for him and his girl. And I did. I asked him a lot of questions, and then I worked with the wrap guy, and his wrap guy did an awesome job. And I don't know if I posted pictures. I have a few pictures. He's supposed to be doing a photo shoot and get me some of the pictures, but it came out phenomenal. And it took me designing that design, that hippie design on that Volkswagen, took me days and days and days to do. And I really got into it. Well, that's the same way if we build a bike for you, or if I design a paint job for you, or if we do a paint job for you. One thing, my motorcycle painter is one of the best painters in the country. His name's Gary Queen. Gary's got some really talented airbrush artists, Mike Sissel and Tim Murphy, that work with him. Those guys are my guys. He has other great guys working with him, like his son and Johnny and Skip, and these guys are phenomenal. And when we do a paint job, it's not just Rick Fairless. It's me, it's the team with Gary Queen, and I'm like the head coach and the design guy and the cheerleader and the inspiration. And I work with Gary and the guys to come up with something really, really special for you. Let's see what other notes I wrote down here. Your bike can be belt drive, can be chain driven. People say, I want a chain, it's stronger. It's also dirtier. It's also messier. It's also louder. It also requires more maintenance. Let's go with the belt drive, Fairless. Do you want a stretched out long chopper like some of my bikes? Do you want a shorter bobber style like my Janis Joplin bike? That's called stretch and rake. Stretch is in front of the motor and above the motor. If it's stretched up high, you know, like the frame is stretched up like this, and the gas tank sits way up high. Rake is the neck, how far it sticks out. You want the front end, the wheel way in front of the bike or not. Stretch and rake has to be correct, or the bike will not handle very good. You riding long distances, you're just riding around town. On those wheels we talked about painting, they have, hold on, I got a customer. Yes, ma'am. Come on in.
Are you on?
Yeah, come around. I'll introduce you. So this is Kara. She's one of my bartenders. We're doing Facebook Live. Today's her first day back in how long?
March 12th.
Since March the 12th. Are you
I'm so excited.
so excited? So are we.
We got a bunch of people next door.
Good.
They're coming in.
Yeah.
Riding bikes.
Yes, ma'am.
Love it.
That's good. So did you need me for something? Yeah, it's Monday, right?
Yeah.
The Poncho usually open till on Monday, but I guess
It's
we
a
had.
holiday.
Huh?
It's a holiday.
It's a holiday.
Okay.
Oh, you know how to do it, right?
Yep.
Okay.
Bye, y'all.
Thanks for letting us meet you. That's Kara. She's one of my bartenders. She's worked for me for several years. And that's the other thing about strokers. Strokers is not just Rick Fairless. I'm just one guy. I'm the face of the company.
Speaking of, it's her birthday today.
Oh yeah,
Just
it is
saw
her
it.
birthday. Guess how old she is? Don't shake your head. I said guess.
No idea. Couldn't tell.
I'm not going to tell you. It's not. You know what? Years ago, I went to a restaurant down the street here. It was called Club Schmidt's. Love Club Schmidt. And I was there with one of my customers. He was like a dad to me. He was an old East Texas cowboy. His name was Don Rasco. Loved Don Rasco. And so the same lady waited on us all the time. You know, when we would eat lunch and drink 2 or 3 pitchers of beer, almost every day. And her name was Mary. And Mary was a beautiful woman that tried very hard to look young, and she wasn't young, but she tried real hard to look young. And so I would say Mary was probably mid-60s back then, but she didn't want anybody to think she was older than, say, 39. So we were in there one day, and I said, and this was after the 2 or 3 pictures, I said, Mary, let me ask you a question. She said, sure, Rick. And I said, how old are you? She got pissed. Roscoe said, I can't believe you asked a lady that. You don't ask a lady how old she is. What's the matter with you, boy? She said, you can't ask me that, Rick. And I said, oh, I'm sorry, Mary, I'm sorry. And Roscoe was literally mad at me for asking. And I said, I'm sorry. I said, I didn't mean to ask you how old you are. I'm sorry. And she said, okay. And Roscoe said, don't do that again. And I said, I won't. I said, I didn't mean to ask you how old you were. What I meant to ask you was, how much do you weigh? She got pissed, stomped off. Roscoe started laughing. It was never the same between me and Mary after that.
Looks like Dwayne got it right. She's 21.
21. That's it. So basically, that's the some of the questions on building somebody a bike. I mean, you know, people ask me all the time, can I build them a bike? Yes. Can I build them a bike for 30 grand? No. I don't want to build you a bike for 30 grand. There's other guys that'll build you a bike for 30 grand, but I can't. You know, how much am I going to charge you to build a bike? Depends what you want. But we're not the cheapest people in town. You know, like I said, this company is not just Rick Fairless, and it's not just Rick and Susan, or Rick and Susan and Lena and Chelsea and Steve and my sister Denise and my niece Mallory. It's Josh holding the camera there. It's Kara that's just left. It's Rodney that just paid. Vicky, my assistant. It's all the technicians. It's the people that I work with every day that you don't hardly ever see. That makes up the company, not just me. But if you want to build a custom bike, you're going to build straight with me, and I want to know you, and I want to build something that you will be proud of, and that I will be proud of too. So, this isn't really a commercial for us building you a bike, and yes, we would love to. This is kind of telling you what the process is, and whether we're building you a bike or we are bringing your hot rod back to life or your classic car, you're going to deal straight with me. And it's a pretty good, lengthy process. And I'm your guy. I'm your punch wally. I'm the guy you're going to deal with. So, Biggin's going to be back tomorrow. We are going to have a guest on the show. We're going to go over to his place. And we're going to try some different things coming up on the show. We're going to, Steve, my brother-in-law, my IT guy, is working on a way, and I think he's working with Josh here on having like a split screen where I can interview people, you know, and have somebody up from their house or their office or whatever, and y'all can see all that. So, Rick Fairless, Strokers Dallas, Punch Wally Garage, Biggin's at home wrangling kids. It is Memorial Day. Let's not forget that. Like, comment, share. Strokers Dallas merch, nerch.com. And let me know if you have ideas for us or you have suggestions for us. Like I say, we're not an island out here. We're just part of you. We had a great weekend. It was the opening weekend for the bar. We had a party Friday night. It was awesome. Had a lot of people here Saturday. And even though it rained yesterday, we had a lot of people out here. And we'd love to have you come out if you want to do. We do all kinds of parties out here. If you want to host an event out here at Strokers, we'd love to work with you. If you want to have a happy hour party or retirement party or whatever, we do all kinds of things. And the thing is, you don't have to deal with anybody but me. Rick at strokersdallas.com is my email. So we'd love to see you. We'll see you tomorrow with Biggin. Bye.